Good afternoon. How are you today? Hi, Janice. How are you? How's everybody holding up with this heat and humidity that we're going through? It's just terrible, eh? Um, we've actually been pretty lucky. We've had some pretty humid days, but we haven't had temperatures in the hundreds yet. So we're waiting for them, but we'll see if they come. We might not get them, and that might be a good thing. Hi, Beverly. Thank you for joining me today. Hi, Kathleen. Uh, so it is August the 8th, 2023. Where is the time going? I just have no idea. Hi, Cindy. How are you today? Thank you for joining us. Hi, Terry. Oh, you seem to have found me, Terry. You seem to know where I am now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the problem is with people getting on here because I've never done it from that other end, and I can't do it from the other end because it's my channel. So I don't know how it works that you have trouble getting in. But, anyways, I'm glad that you joined us today. So it's very, very hot today. We had a civic holiday yesterday. We were off in Ontario, I guess. I thought it was across Canada, but I guess not. It's just province to province that they have these holidays, right? And so, yes, we were off yesterday. It was supposed to rain all day yesterday and all day today. All day. We didn't get a drop. Now, my grandson Hunter is camping with his whole family, his mother and his father, and the dog. So he was so excited to be going. He was just like, oh, Granny. And so I had to tell him all the dangers. You don't speak to people you don't know. You say, I'm going to talk to my dad. Uh, you don't go to the bathroom by yourself, whatever, right? I had to tell him stuff all the weekend. He was so excited to go, though. So I'm really glad that they had a nice, hi, Wayne, how are you? I'm really glad that they had nice weather. At least I hope they did. And they're going to be camping overnight and coming home tomorrow. So that'll be fun. That'll be so much fun for them. Really hard to get someplace to rent, like a cottage or a campsite this year. Like it's still really, really hard. I think what's happening is that the prices are so high that people are not going on big vacations. The airfare is so expensive. Everything's expensive. The dollar's not what we would like it to be, and so um, people are tending to stay home. So uh, everything to rent um, locally is kind of short supply, right? So, anyways, if they can go and camp for a couple of days or get a cottage, it's nice. In southern Ontario, we're surrounded by so many lakes that no matter where you go, it's usually built on a lake, and there's water everywhere, right? Now, my grandson doesn't like water. Hunter doesn't like water. He's not fussy about it at all. He won't go into it unless he's told to go into it, right? So that's not a big attraction for him. But anyways, so today we're going to talk about finding my spirituality. Um, as baby boomers, we've had to make some pretty tough decisions for ourselves. And spirituality was one of those things that um, I had to make a decision on for myself, and learn how to live with it. I was raised in a devout Catholic family. We were Irish Catholics. We attended Catholic schools and we went to church at least twice a week. We followed all the rules of the church, at least I think that we did. We began learning from an early age, and once those rules were uh, ingrained in you, it was really hard to leave them behind, and they tended to rule your life. When you tell a small child um, important things like the stuff from the Bible, it scares the living crap out of you. But the recordings that play in my head from the words of the sermons every Sunday, telling me the difference between right and wrong, are words that were hard to leave behind. I too tried to be a devout Catholic, to raise my children in the church. And I think that it's one of the things that we learn as young children and we bring forward for ourselves. So I tried to raise my children. They all went to Catholic schools, they celebrated the sacraments. And then everything changed. Somewhere in the 90s, I went to church, and the subject of the sermon was about the priest that had been caught for sexually abusing children. It was a sore issue that was long covered up by the church, and its time was finally here. And I wanted to hear what the priest's opinion was on this subject and how we would work move forward and work at a resolution. The priest stood at the pulpit and he asked us to find forgiveness in our hearts for the priests. He wanted us to find compassion for them. But he never said a thing about the unnecessary pain and suffering that the children had experienced. That day in the middle of Mass, I walked out of the church and I have never been back. My beliefs are my own now. But the problem is that I have no place to go to strengthen my spirituality. And I find that I'm missing it when somebody points their fingers at me and says, well, you smoked, as if I deserve what I got. Or when they dismiss or minimize the seriousness of my COPD. It causes a loneliness, not of the body, but of the soul. And it becomes so painful that you can only survive it for a short amount of time. Finally, I had to do something to overcome this feeling of being alone because the solitude was crippling. I had to turn inward and find that missing spirituality for myself, within myself, by myself. I had to take a good hard look at what it was that I was missing by not having a church that would support me and show me the way. I needed to learn how to replace what I was missing. I had to look deep within myself in spite of my imperfections. I had to learn to sit with myself in the stillness of the moment, and I learned to be happy to do it. I learned to call myself out on the crap that I wasn't going to do. But the most important lesson that I learned was to stop blaming my parents and elders for my shit. I can now look at old pictures and I realize that I wasn't a fun kid. I was a brat. I was the youngest of 5 children, and I had little guidance. I was whiny and needy, and in honesty, I was no fun to be around like my sister was. And I could, to put that into context, she was always funny. She always had something to say that was hilarious, and it would break the stillness in the room. If everything wasn't about me, then I made it all about me. I was a sick child, and nobody, including me, knew how sick I was. In spite of that, I basically had to put on my big girl panties and learn to walk by myself. So I had left the church. My parents had just passed away, and I was feeling very, very lonely. My soul was hurting. I had to sit down and I learned to focus on one problem at a time and to take the trouble to plan a way through it. Nobody was going to come and help me. Nobody was going to do it for me. Only then could I really relax and live in the present. Eventually, I got so good at it that I could start to focus not only on the bad stuff, but on some of the good stuff as well. The point was that I could focus on one thing at a time until I figured out a solution. That's a big deal. I learned to accept the decisions that I made, and most importantly, to be happy with my decisions. I learned to sit quietly without a TV or a phone in front of me. I learned to listen to what my soul was saying and what it was asking for and what it needed. And I learned to spend as much time in the present that I learned that the past can't be changed. It was time to let go of the past and of the future and start to live in the present. Now I find my spirituality within. I still believe what the church taught me, but I no longer believe in the church. So my spirituality came from mindfulness meditation. And it was the best that I could do at the time because it was all that I had. And as I got sick and I became so close to death that I had to look a little deeper and decide what I wanted to do. You know, by that time, we've all quit smoking, but we're not all happy with it. Um, you know, it kind of is what it is, right? I agree with you, Mary. Mary says that my spirituality is within myself and my faith is very strong. And so I kind of feel that way as well. My faith is very strong, and I believe in the words of the Bible. I believe what was told to us. Um, and I can go forward with that because I truly believe. Um, yeah, I don't know. So, what are your comments now? Can somebody start writing something after Mary's comment there? That was a really good comment there, Mary. I really appreciate that. I think it I think it puts it into perspective what I'm trying to say today. And I think that's about it for today. Thank you so much for everybody that joined us today. I really appreciate you. Janice is always the first one on, followed by Beverly, and then Kathleen. Cindy, I appreciate you joining me today, as well as Terry, Wayne, Mary Wallace, Terry and Cindy, thank you so much for your comments today. I appreciate every one of you who have waited to see me today. Thank you. We'll see you again.